What is going on, crew? It's Ralph, back with Reams Lawn Care. Alright, crew. Just been making videos when I feel like making videos. I hope y'all still enjoy them. Not putting one out every other day because I feel like it would be monotonous of you watching me mow the same 12 yards every week. Okay? And like half of them that I have, you've seen before, which I am getting quotes on other stuff. Like I addressed in the last video, how many yards do you want to do? How many days a week do you want to work? And, I set myself for this year. I had a few drop-offs, so I've been looking around to pick up maybe one or two to replace those. And, it brings me to the point of this video that I'm wanting to put out here for y'all. Because I get personal messages, some of my friends have got into mowing, all that, and there's plenty of work for everybody. Like, I don't hate on anybody for wanting to go out there and start doing that. And, a lot of time people's like, oh God, they're going to take away my business. There's always a yard to replace a yard you lost. I promise you that. Unless you're just having a really crappy year. But, like I was saying before I start rambling, the video that I'm putting out for this is, I get a lot of messages, I get a lot of questions. How do you quote a yard? And, quoting a yard and, quoting mulch, quoting landscaping, it's all different. This is just going to be on how I quote a yard. I'll try to do the best I can to explain it to you. We'll take like a half-acre yard, and we'll take like a 5-acre yard, which I try to stay away from 5-acre yards because I don't have the equipment to deal with that right now. And it would probably take me all day to do. But you're gonna have different people. All kinds of different stuff. All kinds of different things play into it. Like most people on YouTube, most vlogs. I don't know how many people really talk about how they quote a yard or explain how they quote a yard. And like I said, I'm gonna try to do my best. I might get long-winded. Hopefully not. But in my area where I'm at right now, I'm trying to think of how to say this. In my area right now, like the going rate for yards is like $35 per man hour. Okay? And you gotta do this whole long equation. I can't tell you off the top of my head exactly what that is. I usually have to go over to Florida Turf Pros and watch his video on how to do that every time I start to redo it, or go quote a yard. That way I can get myself back into it. Excuse me, I worked EMS last night. I apologize. But as I was saying, it's like $35 per man hour. Okay? And we'll take a half-acre yard right now for an example. Alright. You go to this half-acre yard, and I'll put this out there before I start talking about it. Every area is different. The terrain is different. The grass is different. The mowers that you use are different than mine, and mine's different from Leonard's, so on and so forth. The weed eaters you use are different. The push mowers you use are different most of the time. I use a scag, SWZT, walk behind right now. I got rid of my zero turn. Nothing wrong with the zero turn. I was just downsizing. But since we got all that out of the way, and I'll tell you the other equipment that I use. $35 per man hour, half-acre yard, okay? And, you know, if, like I said, you'll have to go to that equation. But you pull up to a half-acre yard, no trees, okay? The yard's been maintained. You know, there's no weed eating, and we'll say that the house is a double wide, a 30 by 60, okay? So it's sitting on the yard. No outbuildings. You got a gravel driveway, okay? I mean, that changes with a paved driveway, concrete driveway, all that stuff. So, got my half-acre yard, has no weed eating except around the mobile home. I sat there and I try to figure out how long does it take me to mow a half an acre with no weed eating except maybe like four minutes at the most, or a little bit more, of running around the house weed eating without breaking the underpinning, and then blowing off like their porch. And, you know, running down the gravel driveway real quick and blowing stuff out of the gravel driveway. But you got to be careful not to blow gravel out into the yard. So I sat there and figure it up, okay? And it usually takes me for a half an acre around 30 minutes by myself, okay? So you'll figure all this up, and I'll give you, you know, you try to get a price in your head. Say I pull up to something like that. Okay, what do you want? They say we want weekly mowing. Okay, weed eating, I always include weed eating on the price of the mowing. I don't separate it. I don't say, well, this is how much it's going to be for mowing. This is how much for weed eating. This is for edging. I include the weed eating and the mowing together, not the edging. Unless they're wanting edging, then I include that into the price of the estimate. So, I get there, I'm like, all right, you got 30 minutes worth of mowing, weed eating, loading up the trailer, unloading the trailer, and I'm out of there. Let's say it's going to be 40 or 45 bucks, okay? You put in your little equation that I got from Florida Turf Pros, and I figure out if that's $35 per man hour, okay, within that 30 minutes. If it's not, I adjust my price to where I can get around that $35 per man hour range. If it's over it, sometimes I'll adjust it down a little bit. Sometimes I'll be like, nah, it's worth every bit of doing this for 45. And it just, like I said, it just depends. Like on a flat yard that I could just zip through, I probably would adjust it down to where I'm making $35 per man hour. It'd go less or more, okay? With something with like, it's a hill. It's a 60-degree slant. The whole yard is a 60-degree slant. It's going to take you longer because you're on a hill. You're going to try not to mess up the grass. You're going to hear your phone go off. Sorry about that. But it's going to take you longer all the way around. Okay, you take that same sloped hill. You got some trees. Now you're adding in some more weed eating. So you got 5 trees out in the front yard. Well, oh no. There's a ditch in the front that shuttles water away. You got to weed eat that whole ditch. You can't mow it. You got to add that onto your time. You got to figure out how much it's going to be per man hour on you. That's the best way that what I've been doing for the years that I've been, and I didn't even do that before I watched that video, and man, I was cheating myself. I was like, well, why am I not making any money at what I was doing? And I sat down last year, and Leonard helped me out, and I figured up all my yards, the distance I was traveling, the distance I was working all day, and figured out I was making a little bit of nothing. Okay? So I try to stick to that $35 per man hour. There's special circumstances. Everybody has them. But, you know, I would say throw that thing out the window of what's your time worth? What are you worth? Okay? You're the only one that can decide that. Because if I pull up to a yard and I'm like, man, I can probably knock that out in 15, 20 minutes. And I'll charge X amount of dollars. You pull up to the same yard, but you think you do a whole lot better job than me. Okay? And you're like, I can do it in 15, but you're charging $20 more than what I am. Okay? So, I mean, there's like so many different things. So many different things. I mean, that's the best way I can explain it to you. Like, big acreage, like I try to do a set price per acre. And try to stay within that $35 per man hour on that. It's going to take you 10 times longer. That's why I like little yards. Acre to a half acre, stuff like that. I mean, I can get in, I can mow, I can get out, I can go on to the next one, and I ain't there for 5 hours or 6 or 7 hours on a 5 acre property, depending on the terrain and yada yada yada, and what you have to weed eat and everything else, and sit there for a day mowing just that property. Okay? I mean, it's different for everybody. Sorry, I'm getting calls on my phone there. But hopefully I didn't lose nobody. I mean, if y'all want to have a discussion about it, leave me a message down in the comments. But like I said, I usually add my weed eating on with my mowing and, you know, edging or, you know, like any type of weed control. I do that. Landscaping's a whole different beast. It is a whole different beast. But that's the best way I can explain to you how I do estimates. And they're estimates. That's the thing. You need to make sure your client, when you're talking about your estimates, hey, it could change to this, it could change to that, depending on, like, if it takes you less time, you can change it for them. You know, if it takes you more, you can be like, hey, it's going to be X amount of dollars more. Just to let you know. I mean, it really does boil down to what you think your time, not my time, and if you have employees, their time is worth, okay? Because you're going to have to pay employees, blah, 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 blah. That's probably a whole different video. But you got to figure out what it's worth to you. I try to stay around in the $35 per hour. If you come like down to my area and you're trying to make $55 to $65 per man hour, it's going to be rough on you. I'm not going to lie. Because there's so many people, you know, you got to make your money. But there's so many people that the price per man hour drops. It's not like you're an artisan and, oh, look, I made this artisan pencil. It's going to be $100. Well, heck, I can go over here to Walmart and buy a 25 pack of pencils for like $2.95. You know, it's sort of that business nowadays. And you got to make sure that you're making money in the process of doing this. You don't want to start it and you don't want to lose money as you go, like you're just hemorrhaging money out. Because, well, hey, I'll do your yard for $20, and you use your mower for that $20, you make X amount of dollars, your mower breaks, you ain't able to fix it, I mean, you got to go buy a whole brand new mower. I mean, a lot of people don't think about it like that when they flood the market, where they come in and they say, hey, I'm going to charge this person 20, this person's charging 30, I'm going to do 20, nobody will be able to undercut me. You don't need to do that to yourself. But hopefully that helped a few people out. Probably not, because I go from this point to that point to this point to that point. And if you don't like it, you don't have to stick around. Anyway, that's just the truth coming from me about estimates. Trying to explain a little bit of how I do estimates, because it's really hard to get out there and figure out how to do them. But hopefully it helped a few out. If anybody wants to discuss anything in the comments down below, leave it down there. I'll get in there. I'll discuss with you. We can discuss amongst ourselves. Yada, yada, yada. We appreciate you coming by. And I guarantee you, you're 50% more attractive if you watch our videos. If you subscribe and watch our videos, you're 100% more attractive. And I can gosh dang guarantee it. Until next time, crew. We will catch you out there giving people estimates.